So the next thing I'd like to talk about in EOSIO 2 is support for WebAuthn. Blockchains fundamentally change how you design applications. Instead of passwords, you have private keys. One of the single largest problems with blockchains is people having their keys stolen. Recently, the WebAuthn standard was adopted by all the major browsers to secure web logins with hardware keys. Unfortunately, this standard was not compatible with existing blockchains, and we knew this had to change. This is why EOSIO 2 will support signing transactions via WebAuthn, and therefore with your YubiKey. To tell you more about WebAuthn, I'd like to welcome Yubico's Chief Product Officer to the stage.
All right, it's great to be here this evening. So at Yubico, we make Yubikeys. And you can use a YubiKey to protect an online account, a server, or a device in a very, very secure way. In fact, vastly more secure than passwords. There was a study from Google that came out a couple of weeks ago where they looked at different ways to protect accounts, and security keys were the only method that had a 0% account takeover rate. Because these keys are so secure, large companies like Google, Facebook, Dropbox have adopted them. But also the federal government, agencies in the federal government, are using them to protect mission-critical infrastructure. And it's not just the big guys who can use them. I actually was a user of a YubiKey before I joined Yubico. I'm just using it for my own Gmail account, Facebook account, Twitter account to make sure it doesn't get taken over. We've sold millions of these YubiKeys in 160 countries around the world. So as Dan said, there's currently a huge disruption happening in this space. And that's a new protocol called WebAuthn, something I'm really, really excited about. So we started working on next generation authentication protocols at Yubico about 2012. So it's been a long time in the making. And those efforts culminated this year when, together with Microsoft, Google, and others, the WebAuthn protocol was released and ratified as a W3C standard. It's an incredibly well-designed protocol. As Dan mentioned, today it's already implemented in all major browsers. So you have the bits already in your systems. And I can promise you, you'll all be using this in the future. Now, WebAuthn is really an authentication protocol. I use it to authenticate to a website. But if you dig a little deeper, it turns out that in the protocol, part of this authentication handshake is a digital signature. And I'm always getting super excited if somebody takes a technology and uses it for something new. Right? Block.one has come up with this really, really innovative experimental new technique, how you can take the signature block from a WebAuthn authentication and use it as a transaction, as a signature for a transaction on the blockchain. I'm really excited to see how that development will continue in the future. And with that, I want to pass it back to Dan.
With WebAuthn, your blockchain account keys can now be tied to a particular domain and device. This creates accountability for how your blockchain-powered web applications propose transactions for your approval. The YubiKey ensures easy-to-use, strong authentication. The signing key is generated inside the key and never leaves the device, even if someone else gets physical access to the device. There are built-in protections against tampering and extracting the key. So this is an incredibly strong way to protect your blockchain accounts. Everyone here today is going to go home with a free YubiKey. And EOSIO versions will be available to the public soon. So EOSIO 2 for us and the community is just the next step in making EOSIO the fastest, most scalable, and most usable blockchain software in the world. So thank you very much. I'd like to welcome Brendan back.